You already know this bit, but sometime in the 2020s, two geeks from across social media formed an alliance to bring you geek news from across the Nostalgiaverse. They are Jacob's Toys and SuperSorrell. Together, they have been bringing you the weekly live show, Geek Week in Review, every Sunday. But sometimes, something takes place during the week that requires their full attention. No schedule and no time slot, just an impromptu live stream. Welcome to Geek Week Plus, the bonus show.
Take two!
Take two! We've done it! We've live!
Right, we've done it. Welcome, Geek Week Plus. Here we are again. Right, I'm sorry for the late delay, but we're kind of trying it out on TikTok as well tonight, and we went live on TikTok, but not on YouTube and Facebook and everywhere else. So, welcome to the Geek Week Plus with me, Jacob's Toys, and of course, the wonderful one and only SuperSorrell. How you doing, Sorrell? Right?
Yeah, good man. How are you?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. If you're watching us on TikTok, hello. I'll try my best to get to comments over there. And if you're watching us on YouTube and Facebook and all the regular places, we'll get to you. Shelley, Stug, Stephen Butler, Andy Roberts, Joby One's off work for once, so you can actually catch a Geek Week. Well, it's a good job you caught this one because we've got a very special guest today, haven't we, Sorrell?
Yeah, we've got a good friend of the channel. We've got Rocco the Great going to be joining us in just a second. He's a big collector. His channel is a lot similar to mine. It seems his collection is very varied. He likes a lot of things. He loves toy hunting and loves vlogging toy hunting, and that's how he kind of blew up on YouTube. Can we bring him in, guys? It's Rocco the Great.
Hey, that was a
Rocco.
lot of fun. Thank you guys for having me on. I appreciate it. And it's taken me a second. Listen, you both have great accents. and I'm catching it. At first I was like, are they speaking English? But then I got it. This is gonna be a great stream. Thank you.
It's gonna be a lot of fun.
We thought about you, Rocco. We were like, we can't understand this guy. No,
I know.
We're only playing.
It's fine. You can understand Jacob because he sounds like Mary Poppins, but I'm from like the north, so I'm Sean Bean, like Winterfell kind of accent going on.
Now I've been watching James Bond recently.
Oh, there you go. You've done research.
Yeah, so I feel like I'm there. I feel like I'm in it. Thank you guys.
We'll try our best. Whereabouts are you, Rocco? Whereabouts in?
I'm in New Jersey, but I'm a New Yorker.
Nah, I spent 3 years in New York.
And you got out. You got out alive.
Yeah. I nearly stayed. Love New York. Lovely. I love Jersey too. Jersey's nice. Jersey's a good place.
Yeah.
But how's toy hunting?
Jersey is like relaxing. New York is crazy, and it was fun growing up in New York. But now I like to relax. I got trees all around me.
Happy days. Nice. How's the toy hunting over there in Jersey?
Sucks. I think there's the most amount of collectors. I mean, look at all the YouTubers that are from Jersey. Every store is cleared out. I have not found one retail figure this whole year.
Yeah, but Rocco, it's only like the third. That's not like.
Well, yeah, definitely this year, but also last year.
Yeah. No,
I forgot it's 2024. Damn.
It is.
Isn't Grimm's Toy Show from Jersey? Ain't he from your neck of the woods?
Yeah.
Grim. Yeah. That's how I got into YouTube. Originally, it was through Grimm's channel and Glenn Webb and Shartimus. They were my kind of like introduction to toy tubing.
Yeah, I always tell Shartimus, I'm like, he's OG, dude.
Yeah.
He's the OG.
Yeah.
Over a decade of toy content. Like I've been doing YouTube since the beginning, but not toy content. Like I don't know how he stuck to one thing and he's still doing it and he's still killing it. So shout out to Shart.
Yeah, definitely. It's cool though, but I mean, like, there's so many people now, like all over the world, like doing like toy collection, toy hunting, toy photography, toy customization. Like, there's so much stuff that it's just kind of. It just feels a lot more mainstream now than it did 10 years ago.
For real. And it's so great too, because we were talking a little behind stage. Third-party companies have been my favorite thing lately because we're finally getting stuff from collectors that we actually want. Yeah. And no pesky copyrights and this, and we could limit articulation, blah, blah, blah. And they have to fight for us. You know what I mean? Like they need to sell us on these figures. So I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. We were talking about like third party the other day because, back in the day it was bootleg, wasn't it? It was like a bootleg,
Yeah.
whereas now it's seen much more as like third party, and there's legit companies out there like
There's like a classiness to it, you
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
Yeah, since the kind of introduction of 3D printing, the idea of it being a bootleg no longer exists. It's just a independent action figure company now.
Well, yeah, now we have it's like music, right? Like once everyone could record, once you had like iTunes and all that stuff, you could record in your house what was the GarageBand? Like once GarageBand came on Macs, we had that burst of everyone making songs on MySpace, you know? So right now we're in the customization toy. Look, Shartimus is making a toy, that the other YouTuber is making that Sasquatch. There's like so many people making stuff.
Yeah.
And I threw my hat in the ring. I made my character. I did a graffiti character. I was 13 years old, created this guy. And 2 years ago, he finally exists because of the internet. Like I collabed with a bunch of very talented 3D designers, 3D printers, 3D painter. No, well, everything's a 3D paint, I guess, right? But it's just, if you're not making stuff, it's your fault. You know what I mean? Like it's all out there. Let's, you know.
I think it's cool. You've got your whole line of Goose Faber merch now. As you call it, Goose Faber, isn't it? You call the figure, the design. I can see that in the background. There he is.
Yeah. And I actually had a life-size guy, but I'm moving rooms. Like this room used to be my toy room, and it's going to be turned into like a spare room, like a guest.
Yeah, a guest room.
And so I'm currently moving, but I have my mannequin right off camera. I had a life-size goose, but I have to take them apart to move them. So
that's awesome. That is awesome.
Oh yeah, it's System Island Toys is what the world is, and Goose Faba is the main character. So
that's cool. Yeah, the first time I came across your channel was the first time we started chatting. Was back about a year and a bit ago with the whole tier system of that. I forgot the guy's name that made like a toy tuber tier system. Poor Jacob didn't even make the list, and he's been around as long as I have.
Yeah,
and he didn't even make the list.
So the fact that I made the list, I just started toy YouTubing so recently. I reveled in it. There were big name people crying about and I found out from a lot of YouTubers, everyone was watching my live stream. Like all those people that were on that list, they were all in the chat. They were watching the live stream, and there were some sour people. Can you imagine you have a big channel and you're mad that some guy didn't find your channel? You know, he only had like, not that it matters, but he didn't have he had like 200 or 400 subscribers
at the time.
And you could have just ignored it if you were upset. But it's like the egos on some of these people, it really shows. And that was so much fun.
Remember, you sort of said the same thing I did, which was like, it was like YouTube's a show, YouTube's performance, and it's like WWE, like you have your good guys and your bad guys, and then you have there's some people that aren't going to like you, but you just have to deal with that.
Yeah.
And you took it very positively. Like I kind of brushed it off quite quickly. I was like, yeah, whatever. The Americans can probably barely understand me because I talk that quick. They're like, I'm not going to be on anyone's high list. But yeah, I remember seeing your live stream jumping in, and you invited me to jump in with you because some of the chat people knew who I was. And we ended up chatting for a good like 30, 40 minutes at the time. So it was like something like 2 a.m. my time back then, because it was like so late at night when that video came out. But yeah, it was so fun chatting with you that night that when we were looking for people to come on the show this week, I was like, I'm going to have to reach out to Rocco.
Yeah. And that was such like a fun, big moment. Like that's what live streams are the best for, you know, like that spur of the moment. You don't know what's going to happen. It could be this big thing. And that's why we go live, right? You know, so that was so much fun. And you were part of that. Yeah. Anytime someone jumps in my chat, and I've seen like a lot of different names, if the chat gets excited, then they always get invited on, because I you know, as a YouTuber, you want to make your chat happy. So yeah, that was fun though. You were a good guest. Some people are not good guests, and it's like pulling teeth. And so thank you for that.
But we're really pleased to be able to get you. Like we're doing a lot of guests this year. That was our kind of like New Year's resolution, I think, if you want to call it that. But we've been doing this Geek Week now for a couple of years, and we were just like, you know what, this year we want to get a handful of people from the community in. We want to kind of keep the ball rolling. So then obviously, you know, being able to pull you in as one of the first is awesome. Like,
yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, I that's something I'm not good at. I need to get guests like officially, like, you know, I'll have people just hop on. Like, what was it last week? Shartimus just jumped on, but it's like I never do the build up. I don't do like the cool thumbnail, and it's like I got to get better at making a list, checking it twice, finding out who's naughty and nice. You know.
that's it. That's it.
But yeah, I remember before that seeing your channel appear a few times on my suggested because of your toy hunt videos. I like doing. I'm like one of the guys in the UK that do a lot of toy hunting videos, and yours from America popped up, and you were doing the whole under the shelf thing. That kind of blew you up quite a lot. That kind of brought a lot of people in.
No, that blew me up. Yeah, for real. Like I wasn't even doing toy hunts at the time. I was doing diorama tutorials.
Yeah.
Just for my friends on Instagram that were asking me like, how do you do this? So I was just like, it's easier if I just, instead of DMing people all day, I'll make some videos, put them up. And then I used to be a vlogger. So my YouTube channel's old. Those videos are gone. But I was like, oh, you know what? I'm in Target. Let me do a little toy hunt. I forgot people used to do under the shelf at Toys R Us back in the day. Maybe they're still doing it at Target. And thank God I did it, because that video blew my channel up. That video went viral, and I'm still like, it's still going. That video, it's crazy.
Yeah. You still, I noticed when you're recent, when you're still doing the little noises you do it. I love the little noise as you open the shelf and there's like something under there from like ages ago.
Yeah,
brilliant.
Yeah. That's something we don't get that over here. Like we just don't get that hidden shelf element. It's like, you know,
you get people hiding stuff, but not like under the shelf, because you can't lift the shelves up on the ones in the UK. Like they just don't lift up. No. Smiths is our sort of like Toys R Us kind of thing. We call Smiths over here, and their shelving is just not built like that, so you can't really hide stuff. But you just have to look behind things, because usually someone shoved something at the back.
And most Brits are too polite as well. Like they'll hide something, but then if you find it, they're like, "Oh, tally ho, good job!"
Yeah.
Like, you know,
good job, boy.
I had so many people mad at me because they were like, "You blew up the spot," and I was like, "I didn't know the video was gonna go viral. Like that's not my fault."
Yeah,
you know, there were like, there could have been 200 people watching that video, but people got mad. It's like, first of all, don't be hiding stuff. You know, like. Just buy it if you really want it. But
how did the people in the stores react? Because like they must know now. They must have caught on to the.
I used to, growing up, I did like Jackass stuff, where I would just go into, you know, I'm sure you guys know Jackass over there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And so I'm used to filming things in public places and people looking like, I never care if I'm in, you know, and also it's not everyone could film themselves in public. I see people all the time going like, oh, how do you do that and stuff. I don't care about people like looking at me or whatever. I do my thing I got to do. So looking under the shelves, I could care less. I actually, as a YouTuber, I want to get caught so I could get content out of it. That's a great video.
Yeah.
But I'm, you know, nothing's ever happened yet, but I'm still hoping one day.
So the people in the stores just don't care. Like they just don't.
Yeah, I only have a few rules. If there's kids in the aisle, I don't film. If there's like a parent, I don't like. I'm not there to bother people doing their normal life, you know. Right. So, but if it's like a worker or someone, and like I've looked under the shelf right in front of the workers, nothing happened. So
yeah. They kind of get used to you though, don't they? Because like, I know when I first started vlogging in the UK, you'd get followed by security because I think you're doing something weird or whatever. But after a while, they're kind of they recognize your face, they know what you're doing, they know you're on YouTube, they just leave you to it half the time.
I've only had that one time. I went to a Target in like a nice neighborhood, and I had some guy following me around. And being from New York, I was getting defensive, like, "Oh, it's gonna be on. Like, is there a problem here?" And then I remembered, oh. I'm filming stuff in a Target. Like he's probably the loss prevention guy. So that was a good video because I had him on camera and he was following me, and that video did pretty well. But I never really get bothered. I'm in and out. I'm usually courteous. Like I'm not making a mess. I'm not doing it. I know people think I'm making a mess because who wants to? People get mad that I move stuff on shelves while I'm filming. It's like, who wants to watch me cleaning up the aisle? Like, people really want to watch me going like, okay, I'm going to set the camera down and I'm putting this back. Let me tidy up the aisle. No one wants to see that.
No.
I mean, I guess they do. I don't know.
People think they see everything because they've seen 10 seconds of footage. I get that all the time. Yeah.
Clean up the shelf.
The difference here as well is that obviously you have like over there, you have all your store exclusives, like all your Walgreens, your Targets, all that kind of stuff. We don't get that. We get the luxury of just all of those exclusives just come straight to our retailers. So any of our online retailers, we can pick them up. And hence why you see some like British YouTubers with figures in hand before
Most
you
of
guys
the
have
time.
got.
Yeah, most of the time. Yeah.
So,
And listen, you guys are lucky. We don't even see this stuff. Half of this stuff don't even hit shelves. Like the Amazing Fantasy Spider-Man figure, that new recent. I didn't even see the No Way Home wave. Never hit my Target. Never hit it.
wow.
So it's like I don't even bother anymore. If I'm buying something, I'll just buy it online or something like that. It's ridiculous.
That's crazy. We had Steve Evans on a couple of weeks back from Hasbro. And
the Stevie guy?
Yeah. Stevie 18.
I saw that one. I saw that. Yeah. Congratulations. Yeah, he's cool.
Thanks, man. He's a really great guest. We've had him on like 3 or 4 times now with the show. He's just so much fun. But we were talking about the psychology of like ordering online versus going out and hunting. And obviously it's very different depending which country you're in, because for us, it's not really a hunt because there's not necessarily kind of things that you're out there looking for. It's not like store exclusives and stuff. Whereas over obviously in the States, that it is a case of going into 4 or 5 Walgreens trying to find that one exclusive, be it a Legends or a McFarlane or whatever. So so we don't even get the opportunity to do that type of content.
I have a rule where I don't go out of my way anymore to a store. Like if I'm gonna be at a store, I'll film there. But I don't go out anymore because in Jersey, at least, it's a waste. Like I don't live in the middle of Idaho or something where I see people with their Walmarts and I'm like, where do you live? Because I've never seen full shelves like that. Like, full rows of every Raimi Spider-Man and Andrew Garfield and all these and all the Hot Wheels, all the NECA, all this. NECA is actually one thing that we're pretty good with because they're from Jersey. So the stores are usually stocked, but I'm not buying NECA anymore. I haven't bought a NECA figure in a few years when they were my favorite toy company. They've raised the prices. They lowered the quality, in my opinion. And I'm just not like feeling the value anymore. So I'm kind of like just not boycotting them, but just they didn't do anything that pulled me in for at least a few years now. And it's kind of sad.
Yeah, that's fair play. That's fair play. So we spoke briefly. You're collecting. What's your main kind of focus at the minute? What you kind of?
So I kind of jumped in recently. I'm looking at my desk. I caught up on a bunch of Spider-Man figures because I wasn't collecting like Spider-Man stuff, and then I finally watched those Spider-Verse figures, the movies. And I was like, okay, I need me some Spider-Man stuff. And so I've been collecting, and I finally got the Mafex Spider-Man. This figure is beautiful.
Yeah.
Nice.
But
you only just watched that recently as well, didn't you, Sorrell?
I literally watched it like today for the first time.
Today?
Yeah, Spider-Verse. Yeah, at least I've had it sat on Blu-ray for like a week in my house, and I was like, yeah, I'll get around to it. I never saw it in the cinema, so I've just sat down to it this morning. It's a good movie. It's a good movie.
It's real, and the second one's even. I would say maybe even better or on par. We had fun with it. My wife and I watched them. I think December. I would say early December, and then the Spider-Man 2 game came out. So I was like, all right, let's get into Spider-Man stuff. Let's get in the flow, but. I've been buying the third-party companies and the figure arts. Like Dragon Ball Z, I'm learning from my analytics. The Dragon Ball Z videos consistently do the best, and people seem to really want those. And I'm really opinionated because, one, it's not a cheap line, right? So I have like, if a figure is cheap, I let it get away with a lot of stuff. I still hold it to a high standard. Like Mattel, Hasbro doesn't get away from me. But the figure arts, I'm very critical because I know they could be good. Like there's some toy lines they kill it. Like the Chainsaw Man is every figure is consistently perfect.
Yeah,
quality, look wise, articulation. But the Dragon Ball Z figures, sometimes you could tell they're cheaping out. But the price is ridiculous. So it's like that Trunks figure was $80-something plus tax plus shipping, whatever, and it could have been the $35 release, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know what? Especially with all the problems like the arm exploding. The kneecaps full. I had 2 of them, and I opened them both on camera just to be sure. They both had the same problem. So it's just like, what am I supposed to do? Just be like, that's cool, $80, and like for us, we're toy channels. Like we could subsidize it, tax write off, whatever. But there are people out there that, like some kid, that's his whole week at Target working, and he's buying one Figuarts figure, and it's going to be garbage. Like that's not fair.
No. You've seen it a lot though. QC issues as well across all the brands seem to be like, this last year in particular. QC, like Hasbro, for example, like have suffered from
Hasbro's are insane QC averages right now.
Insane. Like they're making Spider-Man figures with webs missing, like big chunks of webs missing. Like that's crazy.
What was the G.I. Joe figure I picked up, Jake? I can remember her name, and her arm just fell off straight out of the packet. What was that one called?
Lady Jane?
I can't remember. It was Jane, but it was the Indiana Jones looking one that they brought out, because I said she looks awesome with Indy. It was that one. Helen Gillisman. And then her arms just fell off the moment I got her out of the box. Like the bottom part of her arm just like, okay. And you could just see from like turning the arm that the arm just doesn't slot in properly. Like it's so sloppy.
See, I've been really lucky though. QC issues, I've not actually hit that many. I literally had every Marvel Legends figure up until last year. I had near enough every Marvel Legends figure released. That's what I started out. I started way back at the beginning, and then last year I was just kind of like, I don't need this, so I just cut right back, went back into Hot Toys a little bit of NECA and all that kind of stuff. But across Marvel Legends, for example, I maybe 6 or 7 figures had QC issues, and I was seeing people like post, like even with these No Way Home, like we're seeing so many people post about the joints being stiff and things, and mine were fine. I don't know whether like I've got some kind of magic letterbox in my house, but when things come in, like mine were absolutely fine. I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah, I was so I'm on Twitter, and I'm not a Reddit guy, but sometimes I'll check the Marvel Legends Reddit for people complaining and stuff, and that's where I get some of my shorts and my reels. Like I was scrolling through going like, is everybody's figure breaking? Because like you said, I only got the Rami one, so I don't know how the other ones are, but that final swing seems to just break if you touch it. So I did a few coverages of that, and I still never saw those, so I don't own them yet. But yeah, some people it seems like have really crazy. I've just had a bad luck with Figuarts for some reason. Maybe because I buy them very frequently, so like my rate of getting a effed up one is higher, but I don't know.
Yeah, I can't talk bad about Figuarts because they send me like every monster going. that entire shelf of monsters was donated by Bandai. So nice. Bandai are lovely in my opinion. I love Bandai.
You know what's crazy? Bandai sends me the anime heroes, but I didn't get on that Figuarts yet. I don't know who I got to talk to.
In the UK they're distributed by Hio, which is our distributor in the UK for them in Europe. And they reached out to me, were like, do you like monsters? I'm like, yeah, I like monsters. Well, it's like, well, we're going to send you this giant Ghidorah. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then you look at the price of that thing, you're like, oh, damn. Yeah. Like, so that's a nice present. Thank you.
Yeah, the Godzilla figures are crazy.
And so from there, they've literally sent me every single one as they've been re-released. I've been getting like each one through the mail. So like, wow. So yeah, I'm not saying a damn word.
No,
they're just like, nil my mouth. Nope. Not saying anything.
Yeah, like I'm crazy because Hasbro sends me stuff, and I still say, but what I do is I'm very equal. Like I will praise them when they do something right, and I'll be critical when they do something wrong.
Oh, massively.
Yeah,
I think I think that's the right balance to have. Like you get some people out there that just, for the sake of clicks, will just be really negative, and then you'll get others.
It's very easy to be like that because negativity sells. As much as I hate it, you have to be balanced because people will figure it out eventually. Like if people want, like I've had people that they're like, I always check your videos because a lot of people just kind of fluff up the reviews and they're just kind of showing off the figure. They're not really reviewing it or being critical. So, and plus I just can't help it. Like I have to be critical because it's like, what am I talking about on here then? So it's fun. It's also fun to roast stuff. Come on,
But yeah, I've noticed it looks like you not many of the toy tubers jumped in on the shorts when that first launched. A lot of people were against it, but I mean, like you were like me. You kind of jumped in on the word "go" on the shorts. You've been doing that for quite a while now with the reels, the shorts, the TikToks.
It's the best thing ever. It's you won't you have, and this is something that people don't understand. You have to listen to the I am an artist, and we're YouTubers, we're content creators, but also you got to be smart. Like if the platform you're on is telling you something that they want, you have to do it. You have to listen, you know? And it's like, people are like, I'm not doing shorts or I'm not doing that. And it's like, you got to change with the times. You got to update yourself or else you get left behind, you know?
Yeah.
And
last year I jumped on the Funko Five Nights at Freddy's Snaps play sets. These little guys, like the little tiny,
yeah.
And they came with the little 3/3 inch dioramas.
Yeah, those are cool, dude, for mini mates.
Yeah,
those would be great for mini mates.
I jumped on that line and I was thinking stuff like, I can't review that on a video for like 20 minutes. I can't talk about that for 20 minutes. So I decided to do the shorts.
Yes.
And that blew my channel. Last year I gained like 10,000 followers from doing that line alone.
Well, think about it, right? There's a lot of toy YouTubers and they want to fill this niche. Like think of YouTube. They want to fill people's phones with content that aren't videos, right? So if YouTubers aren't making shorts, then they're going to push the ones that are. So I get people who are mad. They're like, I keep seeing your face. And I'm like, thank you. You're confirming like they're working. Like I try to be sometimes for the shorts, you gotta be, I watched a lot of TikTok guru people. You gotta be annoying because when you're annoying, if you piss someone off, they're going to leave a comment. They're going to share. They're going to interact with this stuff. So I'll just be like, oh, you bought that figure? You're an idiot. And then like, that's how you start the video. And then they're already mad. They're like, And so I've been having a lot of, I know when to be a heel and I know when to be like, and I've just been having fun. The shorts have been the most fun that I've been having as of late. Like
I've been saying that, and I've been trying to sell Jacob on it for like the last 6 months. So I'm like, you've got to get on it, dude. You got to do it. Because it is literally the most fun I've had on the platform in a while.
I'm all over the shorts as well, but then trying to manage the TikTok as well. Very similar.
You make the one video and upload it on everything.
That's what I do.
Dude, some guy on Instagram got me to post on a Facebook like page. Like the reels, you throw them up on there. Why not? Right? I don't know. I don't go on Facebook, but let them go on there. I don't know.
Yeah. It's crazy the amount of like places. Like for example, like even now we're going out across like 5 or 6 different places, and it's crazy how that it's there. It's just there's so many places that people get there.
We're content creators. That's what we are. Like people try to make it more than it is. We're not important. We're not. Our content is not art. It's not good. Right now, the world needs content. It's not about. It's like movies. Movies suck now because they know like. Some kid's watching it on the way to school on his iPhone and he's playing something else on the other thing and listening to music. So it's like people don't value art right now. And the artist in me is hurting. But, you know, there will be a time when you can't. Like, that's why, like, my toy line, it's just for fun. It's where I get to put in all my artisticness and you know, and I love it, dude. You know, and I only do it when I feel it. So like I took a break. I had a kid last year. I took a break from the System Island toys last year. And now this year, I feel like I could finally balance all the things I'm doing. So the line is coming back this year. We're going to be re-releasing some stuff. We're going to be doing some new stuff, and I'm excited. So
nice. How far out do you push it? How do you put your toy line out there?
I just start. What I'll do is when I get the idea, I'll start teasing it on Instagram. I'll talk about it on the live streams. Really help. I feel like if you're doing something like that, like the people that I see some people in the chat, like my Goose Gang members, my channel members, my people from my live streams. Like we kind of built the line through the live streams. Like I would have my friends on, and I would be like, okay, I just talked to the 3D guy. He's doing the sculpt, and so what was cool about my toy line thing was. I built it with the people. And then when it did come out, everyone wanted to support it because they were kind of part of it from the beginning. And that's something I don't think enough people, like we're on YouTube and I know it's easy to look at people as numbers. And a lot of times they just are. Like someone might watch every one of your videos and they don't care about you one bit. and they're just, it's like just content going in and out. But then there's like someone who's like, they watch your live streams and they hang out with you, and maybe you're on while they're eating dinner and stuff like that. And I know a bunch of YouTubers I watch, you feel like you kind of get to know them and you have a connection. So it's like, I always like to support the people that, you feel like you're part of their thing. And that's what's really cool about live streams, because videos are it's hard to connect with people when you're literally not talking to them, you're talking to everybody. But the live streams, you can kind of get in there and you could be like, what do you guys think? How's this looking? Should we do the pants or should we do the shorts? And I think people underestimate the live streaming of just a way to connect with people and the people that are watching your videos. And it's not, everybody, because I don't even know why nobody gets notified. I have channel members. They literally pay for my to support the channel. They don't get notified when I go live. So I don't know what's going on there, but I just kind of gave up on it. I was like, it's whoever's going to see it is going to see it. And I think leaving up the live streams help. I used to take them down because I heard it hurt your YouTube channel. And I don't believe that at all, because I've been leaving them up and my channel's been growing. So
yeah. There's so many rumors out, what works, what doesn't work.
Yeah.
Use this, don't do this. Like, you got to kind of ignore it a little bit. But no, it's interesting with like toy lines and that, because there are a lot. We're talking about third party and all that kind of stuff. And there are so many people out there trying to push toy lines, to create new toy lines. And you get, we spoke to Ramen Toy. Have you picked up on Ramen Toy with the?
I spoke to them too. Yeah, and that's the thing too, is he's over there, right? Like he's in Taiwan or something, right?
Yeah,
it's around that way.
Yeah.
He's literally there with the factories. You can't beat that. He's gonna, he has a leg up. He's killing it, and they're making fun stuff. And also, people don't know this. You can't get touched. There's no copyright in Taiwan for your stuff.
No.
Like, go F yourself, Disney or whatever. So it's like, and that's cool too. And the thing was, you like Hot Toys, Jacob, right? You ever hear of a toy line 3A?
Yeah.
3A is what's it called? 3-0, and the artist Ashley Woods collabed, and they made a toy line called 3A. It was basically artist toys. Like, the guy did art, and they turned his drawings into toys. I have they're in my display case right here. But and that toy line was one of my I loved him as an artist, but that toy line really inspired me for my figures, because they did cloth goods, and they did 6-inch cloth goods before Mezco, before any toy line. And I remember when they did them, it was the Action Portable line. They got dogged on Facebook, on all the groups I was in. Everyone was like, those are Barbie dolls. And now it's like Mezco's the biggest brand ever making cloth figures. But that company inspired me so much. And it's like, all they did was they took, the basic bodies that, you do Hot Toys. So like, they have those stock bodies the companies make. I went through a bunch of them. I found Nada Toys makes the best body that you can get, in my opinion. They're not cheap, but those are the bodies that I use. They're super durable. They're articulated. I never had one person say they had a break or anything. And I looked at their toy line, and I was like, this is just a blank with a custom shirt with a head sculpt on it. I was like, I could do that. And so it was my love for the 3A toys and me just wanting a figure of your own toy. Like, as toy collectors, I'm sure everyone, when they were a kid, wanted their own toy. Like, everyone,
Of course. Everyone thought of it. Everyone came up with a toy or an action figure or a hero or some kind of like Star Wars character or something. Everyone did. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why we do customs, right? Because you want like a thing. So I took that. I never wanted to go the mass produce route, because then you need to, like Shartimus, look at him. He's having a hard time, and he has the biggest toy channel there is. Yeah. And that's the thing was, and I told him this, it's like he was going a creative route with his own like story and everything, but also trying to do a generic goon for people. And I don't think you could go both. I don't think you could go either way. So like, and I watched that, and it didn't do well. And then like that Odious, he's like, this is my toy. This is my character. if you like me, you like this character, you're going to support it. So, and did he get funded?
Yeah, that went all the way.
Oh, there you go. So it's like you have to be behind your thing, and that's what, like, you know, my Goose Father, I love him. So when it was an easy sell to people, because I was like, I love him, and people wanted to be part of that, and like they wanted to like him too. Like I remember when the first wave, we sold 10 figures the first time. They sold out, and I had people in my DMs like, my biggest regret, I still have a screenshot. My biggest regret is not picking up that figure when I could have. And so it's just wild how stuff like that happens.
That's crazy. But no, it's just funny how, like, you know, you touched on Shartmus there, like, you know, arguably the biggest kind of toy creator on YouTube, been going for a long time, but struggled to get that what was it called? Street Humans, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Off. But then you get other organizations, even like Hasbro, you know, the Engine of Vengeance. Nobody wanted to back it because it was too much money. It wasn't this, wasn't that. And then Ramen Toy come in, only a little bit less.
Yeah.
But then the funny thing was, I mean, I've backed it. I've got it coming and all the rest of it. But
oh yeah, okay.
It was less. But in order to get it up to where the Hasbro one was, you've got to put add-ons on. So essentially, it works out not that much different.
But you feel better supporting that guy than I do crowdfunding with Hasbro.
But that's the crazy thing, isn't it? And it's like you know, Hasbro, you kind of, and even with Hasbro, you know that there's an element of safety in regards to, you know, customer services and all that kind of stuff. Like, okay, we could sit here and argue all day about how customer services work, but there's still that sort of safety net of, okay, well, it's Hasbro, you know, one of the biggest toy companies.
You don't feel like you're going to get scammed.
No, not at all.
They're going to scam you, but to your face, you know.
Yeah. They're going to go, this is the scam.
Yeah, this is the scam, and you're going to still purchase it. But
it's crazy. The kind of purchasing kind of mentality sometimes. I mean, again, you know, I went from mainly collecting Hot Toys through mainly collecting Marvel Legends to now mainly collecting Hot Toys. Now the price jump between those is, you know, you talk about it in English, it's, you know, £25 to £300. You know, it's a huge jump.
But you feel like you have the quality, like you feel justified when you buy a Hot Toys, and you actually are. So I've talked a lot about this, like Marvel Legends, depending on which one, but a majority of Marvel Legends, once they're out of the store, their value plummets. Like if you open it and you lose the box and you lose it, it's almost half, and you could usually buy them in a lot when the hype dies down. But a Hot Toy not only retains its value, you know, sometimes it'll jump, it'll triple. So they feel artisan, right? Like, so you feel like you're actually getting something that is worth it. Like my figures were $135. So it's not a hot toy, you know, like a lot of work went into it. And so when, you know, if you have it, it's a piece of art, you know, it's not a toy. It's not just another toy. It's actually a piece of art. Like when you buy a hot toy and that's how I justify, like if Hasbro wants $30 for a Marvel Legend, I'm like, go F yourself. But if this YouTuber I want is selling something for $80, I'll support it, no problem, because you know who it's going to, you know, like it's not easy for them to do that. Like Hasbro doesn't need our money. They don't need to crowdfund our money, put it into a bank account, earn interest on it, and then give you, and the thing is, when we crowdfund, it's because we have to. These companies don't have to. They literally have sweatshops with little Chinese kids ready to just print out their stuff. They got the molds, they're not getting charged like how Ramen Toys gets charged.
No. And I think with the Ramen Toy, like, you know, because we spoke to them, we also spoke to Be Stoic, wasn't it? Sorrell, with the Dino Riders kind of line that they've created. And what's really interesting is with the like with these third party companies, like you say, you hit the nail on the head. They are crowdfunding because they have to, you know. And Ramen Toy was quite upfront with, this is what we've got, but unless we hit this figure, we can't produce it. Like we physically cannot afford to produce it.
And it's nice having that transparency, right? Like that's how when I was building my thing, I was like, guys, like this is what I got to do, or else they can't exist. And it's like, you just don't feel like you're getting the wool pulled over your eyes. Like Hasbro, first of all, Hasbro doesn't need to sell anything for $300. When you see what you go into the Imaginext like aisle, they could sell you this big bat cave like this with all this plastic, all these molds and all this stuff, and it's like $10. You know what I mean? Like plastic doesn't cost that much to these companies, no matter what they try to sell. So it's like same thing with the Rancor. That's one I actually wanted. And I saw they were like, you're gonna get a cardboard backdrop. I couldn't do it. I was like, I cheered when they failed. I couldn't believe they had the balls to be like, you're gonna get a little bone, and here's a cardboard backdrop. I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
You know, that's one that I'm so surprised didn't like fund though, because
that was cool.
Like, from when I was a kid, there was 2 figures that I wanted in big size, and it was Stay Puft Marshmallow Man and a Rancor. Do you know what I mean? Like they were the ones that when I was collecting toys as a kid, I was like, the ones that you're giving me don't scale. I needed a Stay Puft as big as the Firehouse. I needed a Rancor big enough for the to eat the characters basically.
Yeah, how cool would the Rancor be on top of your Detolf with the Luke in his hand or something? Like
massively. I just, you know, and and I think that it was going to go one or two ways, wasn't it? People were either going to call it for what it was, or they were going to buy into it because, you know, it was a Rancor at the end of the day. And it seems like, unfortunately, it got called for what it was.
You know, Disney and Hasbro are failing when that, like you said, that should have, every Star Wars fan wants a Rancor. I don't care who you are. Like, I never heard anyone talk crap about Rancors. Like, that's... Yeah. It feeds into your 12-year-old self or 10-year-old self, whatever. And it's like, it was very shiny. It was very shiny. The plastic looked cheap. I know they were prototypes or whatever, but I don't know, man. I don't want to. I did the same thing with Mattel. They tried $300 something for a ring, you know, and then a little tiny plastic stand that lights up. Like dollar store things light up. That's not that's not something crazy. But I don't know, man.
Yeah. All right, we just Bethany's in the chat. She said, "How much did we pay to get Rocco on?" It's just Bethany's one of our regular viewers. We didn't pay him yet. You know, it's so we'll discuss fees.
Yeah.
How many?
Yeah.
The Geek Effect as well. Just say hi to Geek Effect.
Oh, shout out Geek Effect.
Geek Effect, how we doing? Good to see you, Geek Effect. But yeah, it's crazy they didn't fund it. But then the other thing as well is you look at the Ghostbusters stuff, like the Proton Pack.
They fund like the day of.
Yeah, like, and the recent one with the trap and everything like that. Like I was at MCM London when it was like the first physical viewing of the trap and everything.
Oh, you went to that show?
No. This was in London. In London, MCM London, they had it out on shows. So it was the first con that they kind of had got it out on.
Yeah, that London con thing.
Yeah,
right?
That's where I was at.
Okay, I didn't even know what that was, and I was like, "What's all this toy news coming out?" That was cool. You were there?
Yeah, that's the MCM London. We do that every year. But
really?
Seeing it, yeah, we're just a small little island, Rocco. You know, we do things. We got hot water and electricity as well.
For real?
Yeah, man. But we seeing it in hand, I was kind of like, I don't even really collect Ghostbusters anymore. But I was there, like, I need to back this because this is so cool in hand. And things like the Proton Pack, I thought there's no way this is ever going to fund because although it'd be really cool to have a Proton Pack, it doesn't come with the wand. And it's huge. Like, where's people going to put this? But it blew up because
did it come with the wand?
No, you had to get that separate.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, the wand was like another $120. They sold the wand individually, like beforehand, and then the Proton Pack came out afterwards. But yeah, it blew up because every Ghostbuster fan, surely you're going to go, well, yeah, I want that. Like, I want a movie accurate.
I mean, every kid, right? Like every kid growing up watching Ghostbusters, that's like easy.
Every box was turned into a Proton Pack when I was a kid.
Yeah.
It was like string box on the back. But yeah, so I didn't pick it up myself. But no, it's crazy how some things fund and some things don't. And I think it's quite cool at the moment as well because you have people kind of coming up with concepts, coming up with ideas and putting them out there in the world with no real guarantee whether things are going to work or not work. Because, you know, you don't know nowadays, do you?
And well, that's the whole fun part, right? Like if I knew that I was going to sell my own original character for 2 years at a premium price point, and I just knew it was going to work right away, I probably wouldn't have done it. That's not fun. Like
No.
the amount of support, like I was getting write-ups on art blogs that I look at, like, because I collect action figures, but I'm also an artist, and I collect art toys and designer toys. Like I got like this is like my one shelf that's left in this room, so I keep looking at it. But I also like the art toys world, and and so the fact that like I felt like I was on the blogs with those people, and it's funny because I didn't even get a lot of support from the toy community. I was getting support from the art community and like the designer community, which was very interesting. The toy community, if it's not Spider-Man, like people just don't care. You know, a majority of people, like you have to sell. Like that's what like Shartimus, like he couldn't connect his characters with people, and you know, if someone likes Batman, they're gonna just like Batman. They're not gonna care about what this guy, who is that? What's that thing? You know what I mean? So I think you got to find your audience. And you got to listen to the audience and sell to that, but also you got to take a chance, right? Like you don't know what's going to work. And I love that Hasbro keeps taking chances with Star Wars and they fail. That's crazy.
I tell you what, Rocco, if you like art toys, I need you to check out on TikTok. There's a page called Collectible Cities, and they're new like art toy brands that have come out over here in the UK. I connected with them quite a while back, and they sent me over their kind of range of figures that they had created. But they've created these kind of art toys based on like British characters. You've got like the Queen, you've got Henry VIII, like you've got all these Sherlock Holmes, like, and they're stunning. Like in hand, they're absolutely beautiful. And they're documenting their journey on TikTok about kind of creating art toys and becoming a toy rep. And they're really transparent. So they're talking about the like the deals that have fallen through and the kind of the shows that they've been to and the struggles and the pros and the cons and that kind of stuff. And it's a really cool channel, but because they're an art toy as well, check them out and you'll learn a little bit more about this country because they do art toys based on our
So if can I ask a question, guys? And I'm sorry if it's a sore subject. How do you feel about the Queen passing? Are you those people who are like down with the Queen, or are you? Because I know some British people that were crying, like they were like their mom died.
It's a weird one because over here, like you get some people that are real royalists, you get some people that are like really, their whole existence is because of the royal family and that, and you get the extreme other side that's kind of like, yeah, I don't care. But you don't see the middle ground. And that's where I fall. You know, it was sad,
you're just living your life, right?
Yeah. I think it was for me, it was a sad moment in history because of the length that she had. There's no two ways about it. The woman we're not going to have a queen or a king run that long again. Like,
probably not.
So,
right?
You know, props to, you know, credit where credit's due and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it was a sad day because it was, you know, our parents and our that's the only rule that our some people in our family knew. So yeah, it was sad, but you know, I kind of lived my life kind of thing.
She was also the queen that was never meant to be queen. She wasn't born to be queen, was she? It was like thrust upon her, which is kind of why her reign was like a big deal. Because like it should have been, you know, it was because of the I can't remember which king it was. He abdicated, didn't he? And then it ended up to her father and then her. And she was never meant to be queen. Like some people are born to be kings and queens. She wasn't. I thought that was kind of like why she was so humble.
But it's a weird one because obviously everything had her face on it. Like whatever. Like it was, you know, and there was really random things that people were finding out because we have like ER written on stuff, which was like Elizabeth Royal, and it's always had ER written on it. But now it's changing because it's not, and people were like, oh, that's what ER stands for. Oh, right, okay. It's just mind blowing. But
it was like the same. I remember for the first couple of times at the sporting events, like football, where they sing the national anthem. It took a while for people to stop singing "Save the Queen" and change it to "King," and that took a while in mentality of people to change over.
Oh yeah, you guys have a king now, right?
Yeah, it's King. Yeah,
that sounds cool.
Yeah.
I went to London for our honeymoon. We went to Italy and London.
Oh, nice.
And We went to London though for Harry Potter, and no one sounded like Harry Potter.
Yeah, it was, you know.
Dude, and you know what I realized? London. Oh, my boy's crying in the other room. Sorry about that. It probably has to go to bed. He don't like that. But London is basically New York. Like Manhattan is this, like every city, I guess, is the same. You kind of tourist trappy, and Big Ben was covered when I went, so I couldn't even see Big Ben.
Oh, they're doing the work on it.
Doing the repair, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, dude, what the, I'm never coming back here. But yeah, that was fun. I love the Spice Girls. Like, oh yeah, look, hold on, let me show you. I got Brits on the thing. I gotta. So.
There you go.
Wow.
There you go. You're like an honorary Brit, Rocco, for having Spice Girls.
Dude, that's Spice World movie is so good. It holds up. That's all I gotta say.
But yeah, no, Harry. Did you go to the Warner Brothers tour?
Yes, we did. Yeah, of course. My wife is a big Harry Potter fan, so, and I like it through her, and it's fun. Like, I don't believe anyone who goes like, I don't like Harry Potter. They're fun movies. How do you not like it? You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to be a fanatic, but they're good quality movies, and they have a great story. And I try to get my friend to watch it. He has a movie channel, Joe from Real Shift, shout out. And he's like, he watched the first one. He's like, they're kids. I'm like, no, the movies grow with the kids, and they get more serious. And nobody ever makes it to those end movies that are pretty intense.
That's the thing. No kids, like our generation, had that kind of, like, we grew up in England with that. It's like we grew up with the book, the like 3 books out when the first film came out. So we kind of grew up with the movies, whereas kids today just get to sit down and watch all 7 in one row. Right? We had to wait years between each one. So it was a big thing at the time over here.
No, Harry Potter is awesome, man.
I was actually working in New York when the books were coming out.
Wow.
And me and my friend were, I was over there 2001 to 2003.
Oh, wow. That was it. Oh, that's awesome.
So, and I'd come back sort of around Christmas time, and we would work like upstate New York. We'd do all sorts of stuff. So, but we would bring the books over, and our friends would be like, "Oh, have you got the new book?" We're like, yeah. But I've never read the books. Never read the books.
I don't read. No.
So, but yeah, it's funny, isn't it? It's funny. Like, I don't even think about Harry Potter. Like, my kids love it. My kids growing up loving it. But Harry Potter World is phenomenal. But I tell you what, you must have you been to Universal?
Yeah, of course. The one in Florida.
Yeah. So personally, I think that's better than the Warner Brothers studio.
So that's how we felt when we went to that. I was like, first we loved it, right? We had a great time, but we were like, you really just need to go to Universal. Like, if Universal didn't exist, that would have been amazing. But Universal, it's like you're in it, like you're literally in Diagon Alley. You're in the freaking thing. You're doing, Universal did a great job, dude. I don't care who you are. Like, if you don't go around there and look around and be like, this is beautiful, like this is amazing, you're crazy, because it's just what they accomplished. Is unbelievable. Imagine they did that with Star Wars about stuff we care about. Like, imagine they gave us Tatooine, and you go in the cantina bar, and not like the freaking whatever they did. And don't even get me started.
But yeah, I say to everyone, if you're a Harry Potter fan, like, you need to get to Universal, because it's so immersive, and it's immersive without it being like, it's a theme park at the end of the day, and you're walking from ride to ride, but you're but even like the queues for the ride, like, are so immersive.
It's beautiful. Just everything is really well done, and it doesn't feel cheap. It doesn't feel that's the closest you're gonna get to Harry Potter.
Yeah. If you went to the Warner Brothers tour, you would have been about an hour away from me. I can get to that about an hour from my house.
Yeah,
so you were near my neck of the woods.
Yeah, and I realize now, like, if I could have did it again, that was my first time travel. Like, I never even left like my states, like when I was growing up. So we, what was it, like 6 years ago? We went to London, we went to Rome, Italy, and I didn't even know London was like just like how it was. I would have tried to go like to the country parts, because there's really beautiful parts of England, obviously. And we went to Rome and London. And next time, if I do travel Europe, I'm going to go to not the tourist trappy places. But that's what you live and learn,
I always say to people, when you're coming over to England, like there are so many good castles in the UK, but outside of like the touristy kind of tourist traps, and you get so many people, like so many of my friends from over in America have kind of traveled over. They've done the London, and then they've jumped over to Europe and done like you say, like Rome or France or Amsterdam or something like that. But you miss, like, you've got Buckingham Palace, you've got Big Ben, you've got all that kind of stuff in London, but there are so many beautiful castles across the country.
I love castles. So I want to go to Scotland. Oh, my boy. Sorry. Is that coming? I'm sure it's coming.
It's good. It's good. It's fine. We got
Sorry about
kids.
that.
We've got kids
Me
that
and
are
Phil got kids,
Simon.
not together. Like, we've not got kids together.
Oh, you guys, how long? Oh, that's beautiful, guys.
Yeah. No, but we got kids. We got kids. We know how it is. We know how it is, mate. But yeah, Edinburgh's got some beautiful castles. But yeah, so next time you come over, that's what you need to do. Hit one of us up for some info, and we'll tell you where to go.
Yeah, for sure. That's eventually when he gets a little bit older, because I don't want to be lugging him around like that. But I do want to hit Europe again for sure.
That's funny because I want to come back to New York. I haven't been to New York in 14 years, maybe. And
it's the most unsafe it's been since probably the 80s. So I wouldn't
Really?
be running over here.
I'm like, because I've said to my kids, I'm like, like we want to go back to New York. I want to take them to New York, but I'm like, we need to wait till you're just a little bit older.
Get little bulletproof vests, get a little helmets.
They need to be able to run a little bit faster.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You know, it's fine. It's fine. Once
Catch up.
they get their cardio up, then we'll talk about it.
Get that cardio. Yeah, please be safe, okay?
It's funny you mentioned Harry Potter though, because like talking about toys, like Harry Potter's never really had a big toy line.
I am so we got a lot of 1/6 got a few nice ones, but we just got that little figure arts line, which is beautiful. I got everyone. They're so nice, and they ended the line before they even did Malfoy because no one bought them. It's so sad, and
it's because there's so many characters and there's so many like like Diamond Select is Diamond Select Toys is a great brand. Me and Sorrell are big fans. Like we got a great relationship with them, and they just recently sent me all of their Lord of the Rings figures.
Oh yeah,
and they've done like 24 Lord of the Rings figures. And as I was going through them, I was thinking, Harry Potter, surely, like there's so many different characters that they could do.
So I'm also friends with Zach. They were my first They were the first sponsors of my channel ever, like a long time ago. Zach's a great dude. I used to hang out with him when at New York Comic Con, and he's very cool. And I know he's a big Harry Potter fan. And I remember a few years ago they were hinting that they might be doing Harry Potter stuff, and nothing ever came of it. And I think I don't know what it is, because NECA had the license, and that line failed. McFarlane Toys had the license, that line failed. Figure Arts had the license, and that line failed. I cannot understand why. And I think there's not enough guy collectors that want action figures, because my wife doesn't want action figures. Little kids don't really want action. They make those chibi looking things. I hate those. I hate that stuff. I don't like chibi stuff unless it's like.
That's why I think Diamond Select would be good, because because the articulation's different and the sculpture's different. They could also kind of pass as a statue, so you could get your Harry Potter fans and kind of go, look, this is with the diorama pieces they get, like you think about.
Dude, you imagine the hall, like you get like the castle wall or the Great Hall or something.
Stunning. You think back to the Diamond Select where they get the diorama pieces that build up, and think about the Ghostbusters, for example.
That was amazing.
And they built that whole rooftop. Like you imagine that as Diagon Alley or the Great Hall or Chamber of Secrets. I got
goosebumps. I got goosebumps.
Diamond Select. But
the one thing that they always do, though, they always try, and every time someone tackles the Harry Potter line, they always go straight for the Ron, Hermione, and Harry. They always do the same three, and then then nobody really buys them because it's the same idea again. Whereas if a company was to jump in and do like Bellatrix, Voldemort, Sirius Black, and like give us some of the other characters, like the darker characters, I think even guys that collect action figures would want a decently sculpted Bellatrix or a nice Voldemort on the shelf of the villains. I think if you come to
Voldemort The McFarlane Voldemort is really
Oh,
nice.
it's really nice. I've got that
it's
one.
really nice. Yeah, I think I watched your video. Did you do a
It's a
video
really
on
good.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really nice figure. But I agree. Yeah, like, but you have to have the main guys. You know, you gotta have to. Maybe Todd might be able to do it again because now he did that when McFarlane Toys was kind of nothing. Like he was just kind of getting
Playing around.
relevancy again. Now, bro, he's big boy Todd now.
Yeah, exactly. Funny, actually, I'm trying to check in on my TikToks. I'm bootlegging this onto TikTok at the same time. Collectible Cities, who I mentioned earlier, commented on TikTok and said that Pop Mart has a license for Harry Potter, but at the moment it's the stylized blind box form of figures.
Stylized stuff, yeah. And Pop Mart is blowing up. They just made one in that mall, that Jersey mall, that's mall of I don't know the name of it, but it's this big mall they made, and it's really weird in there. It's like they made this humongous freaking mall that has like theme parks and water parks in it, and it just you feel like you're gonna get mugged when you go in there. It's very unsafe. I don't like it, but I think they opened a Pop Mart in there.
Wow. But no, I think Diamond Select need to have that license. They need to, like Sorrell said, they need to start off with the characters. Can you imagine a Snape, like just a Snape figure? Like they start off with those characters that will tap into because all the adults, all the grown-ups, if you like, will go, yeah, I want a Snape, I want a Bellatrix. Like,
imagine a build a Hagrid.
Yeah.
Right, we had Sauron, right?
Yeah, huge
scale.
You know, it would be fantastic. And I just, for me, it's a diorama piece.
We need to clip this whole segment and just send it to Zach. Like, come on, use this as the
Rocco, I tell you what, it's funny you mentioned Zach because he's actually joining it. Where we're talking about the guests that come in on our show, Zach's lined up as one of them. So
nice, yeah. I'll be in the chat on that one.
So jump in the chat, throw in the Harry Potter stuff, and we'll just bully him into it. We'll just
we literally could just bully him into it.
That's what it'll be. It'll be a bit of friendly bullying into get us a Harry Potter line.
Yeah.
There's so many tie-ins though, because you think about. We've just talked about Universal. We've talked about Warner Brothers tour, but surely they would be the ideal place to stock them as well.
Yeah.
Like if I had a Harry Potter tour line, that's where I'd be putting them.
And Universal already has a foot in because they in their the Marvel section they have all Diamond Select statues and figures. So it's literally begging to be done.
It's there. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
Yeah, I'm coming back out to Florida in September, and I cannot wait to hit up that big Marvel store again because the Marvel store out there is so much better.
It's so nice.
Take them over. You'll even ship them over. There you go. Yeah. I'm jealous. I'm not going to be getting back to Florida for some time. I'm so jealous.
I love Florida. It's my go-to. It's my go-to every year. Is Florida. I love the place.
Yeah, Florida.
I very rarely buy anything in the park, so like toy wise and stuff.
Everything's expensive. Oh, for you guys though, it probably isn't that expensive.
It depends on
what it is. Yeah.
Because the other thing as well, take Guardians of the Galaxy for example. There was that Guardians of the Galaxy box set that was a lot of it was re-released. There was some new updated, molds.
That's something I actually wanted from Legends. Yeah.
But and it did so even over here people were like, wow, this is this is great, we want this, we want that, and it got kind of the chats were buzzing, all that kind of stuff. And then a couple of months later our retailers were able to pick it up and stock it for us, and I think it even hit Amazon at one point. So
it was on sale during Christmas time on Amazon. But box sets are a safe bet though for clearance. They always go super clear. They used to go crazy clearance.
Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes you'll get lucky, but you have to watch them. You have to really play the game on those.
Yeah. It's funny. We talk about Legends, like how, with the QC issues and that kind of stuff. And I think a lot of it goes back to kind of the days where they were a lot more scarce and a lot more, hard to come by, because you think back to kind of like the days where Rogue would go for like $80-$90 on the aftermarket because it was a green and yellow Rogue, whereas now there's so many and you don't know what's coming next, and you can guarantee, and there's all these kind of collectors that are kind of coming on board picking up these figures, but then we're never going to see that age of Marvel Legends again, in my opinion. I think that's forgotten. That's a gone time. The market's too overpopulated. There's too much stuff.
I think you really hit a good thing. It was like when you collected Legends, even just 10 years ago, right? Because I was collecting them from the Toy Biz and then Hasbro, the Dark Ages. And then I remember Hasbro did the new, we're coming back with the Tesseract wave.
Infinite series came out, and then it was like, oh, these are good. Yeah.
And it was like, and yeah, I think you're right though. Like the nerds have like, and toy collectors have just hit mainstream TikTok, YouTube. Like, you know, like it's crazy now. And I think they know this, and they know a lot of people just buy anything no matter what.
Yeah.
So we're in this kind of, they don't need us. They don't need to be good because we're going to buy them anyway right now. But eventually, like everything goes, you know, how many times can Hasbro fail? And, you know, I don't even, some of their waves went to not even Target won't even take them after Eternals. Eternals really messed up the Legends wave. Like I will never let Hasbro forget this. I went on a tirade on my channel, but I have to do it here. We had an Eternals full 7-figure wave with a Build-A-Figure and like a few other deluxe figures to a movie that no one wanted. No one wanted it. I don't care if you like the movie or not. No one wanted the movie. No one wanted those figures. They don't even sell for $2. They're at clearance stores for $2, not even selling. But No Way Home took 2 years to make figures, and there's no Build-A-Figure, and there's no like a full wave and all this. It's ridiculous. Like we should have had every villain already, a whole wave of, and the shelf should be full at Target. Like you could put Spider-Man on a whole row of Target shelf and it will sell.
Yep.
But we had the Eternals. The Eternal figures, the pegs were so full of them that they're literally killing secondhand stores now. Like
The funny thing is as well about the Eternals wave, like I'm gonna take it one step further. They were actually well produced figures. Like the actual figures were good. Like the detailing, they all had individual sculpts. The face,
that was an expensive wave.
Actors, they were some of the best. And this is where I think Marvel Legends kind of, there was this kind of He Who Remains kind of shift in time, if you like, is that it was actually one of the best produced waves of Marvel Legends that we had to date. Because they, like you say, it was a full wave of figures. It was, you know, we had two, if I remember rightly, we had two exclusives. It was Cersei and
Angelina Jolie.
And who played Cersei? What's her name?
I don't know their names of the people.
I remember. But we had the big deluxe.
Yeah, that creature, Venom looking creature.
And then you had a full wave. And it was the first time Marvel Legends had ever given us everything in one go as a set. If you were a fan of said film, you could go out, put down however much money and have the entire collection on your shelf.
Yeah.
And they were produced well. They didn't cut corners. Every single one of them kind of were new sculpts, faces were all good, everything like that. But they put the bet on the wrong film. Like you say, the film that just didn't sell. If they had done that with No Way Home, like you say, unreal. And I think that it could have moved Legends in a different direction than it did.
And that's the thing, is like, I think the people over in Hasbro, they have the wrong things in mind, because that company is too big. And a lot of times, you know, I listen to Bobby Valla on the 3POA. A lot of times he says like there's too many hands in it. So it's like, you know, we want this diverse film with all these different race people, and that's going to look good because that's when Hasbro was very like eco-friendly, and we're gonna put girl and boy aisles and all this stuff. Like they're caring about that instead of making money. They're caring about like, we're good people, we're good evil toy company, which is fine, right? You could do that, but they were like, oh, look at this movie. And same thing with the Marvels, right? The Captain Marvel movie back in the day, that got a bunch of figures, exclusives. No one wanted that. People want Spider-Man, Wolverine, and Batman. You know what I mean? And Todd is smart because he's like, Batman here, Batman here, Batman here. Here's Batman with the blue. Here's Batman with the yellow. Here's orange Batman. Here's Joker Batman. And they're all selling. You know what I mean? I don't like it, but they're selling.
All he's doing is mimicking what happened back in the day. Who was it that had the Batman? Like, was it Kenner?
Kenner.
It was Kenner. Wasn't it?
Yeah.
And
literally, Arctic Batman.
It was every single. Like, I remember as a kid collecting those, and the hunt was to find a Robin. Like it was like you know,
they were produced. It's like April O'Neil was produced like very little because they knew even back in the day, like whatever you wanted, whatever reason, the girl characters don't sell as well, right? I guess if you had one chance and you were a kid, you're like, you could get Ralph or you could get April. You're gonna pick, you know, you're gonna pick even Bebop. You'll pick over April. You know, just
especially back then in like the late 80s, early 90s. Like it's the fact that there was even an April O'Neil figure was insane.
Pretty crazy, right? Yeah. I think Catwoman is the only other exception because she is so. It's like Batman, Catwoman. You know what I mean? Like I looked at an old picture today, and I had Batman, the animated series, Batman and Catwoman in my hands. So it's like I must have wanted Catwoman because she was probably cool, you know. But I don't know, man. It's definitely.
So that's what Todd's doing with the Todd McFarlane's doing with his line now. Is he's just mimicking what Kenner did, and it's literally if you're selling Batman, give us Batman, like, you know what I mean, and just push those other characters out. And that's where I think you hit the nail on the head. I think like, but the funny thing is though, is that when they'll do a wave of Marvel Legends and there'll be like an Iron Man or a Spider-Man or a Wolverine in that wave, and you get people jump on and just criticize. But I think that's because they're looking for the negativity, like we spoke about earlier, as opposed to where it makes business sense. Like that's the figure that's going to sell.
You could have and that's what it's important. And I think Figure Arts does this right. They have the $35 figures in Target because they want to get you hooked. You could buy a Goku, you could buy a Luffy, you could buy the Naruto guy. I don't know his name, but they're like the main character, right? So now, do I if I want the villain, he's $80, he's $100, but you'll probably buy him eventually because you got the Goku for $35. It was kind of like the entry point. And it's like, I don't want Wolverine's villain if I can't get a Wolverine in my hand.
Yeah.
You know, Stan Lee said this, every comic could be someone's first comic book, right? When you walk into the store, you got to make sure you grab them with that one comic. Every wave is some toy collector is walking into Target right now. And what are they seeing? There's no Spider-Man. There's no Wolverine.
Yep.
Put them on the shelf. You know, like even me, like if there's a new Wolverine coming out, I'm like, I have 17 of them. Do I need another one? Probably not, but I will buy it if it's a nice one, you know? So I think Hasbro's priorities are clearly not in the right place because, you know, even the No Way Home line is pretty lacking, you know? And they made it the retro card because they are like, we don't need to put a Build-A-Piece figure. You're buying this anyway.
Yeah.
And we're going to jack up the price $5, idiots. That's what they said to us, you know?
That's it.
McFarlane definitely know what they're doing at the minute with these movie waves. So like the Batman and Robin movie. Now that it's kind of like, it's a bit like Amazing Spider-Man 2. Everyone kind of hated it at first, but now it's come back around and people kind of like it again. Same with Batman and Robin. It had its stick back in the day, but it's a fun little movie from the 90s, and it's nostalgic to those of us that grew up with it. So they're releasing these figures, and like, I bought the entire wave then straight away. It was a no-brainer. And like the Poison Ivy figure in that wave is one of the best sculpts I've seen this year.
Oh my God, that wave looks great. You know, and he got his proportions right because I bought the Nolan figures and they are too cartoony for me, and I'm selling them. I like he's good for cartoon stuff. Like the Arkham City line has been great. I got every single one. But for the movie figures, I was turned off until I saw that Batman and Robin wave looks really good. Like if he does the Batman Forever, that's me. I'm gonna be hooked. Yep. I need Riddler in every outfit. I need Batman. Give me it right now, please.
You know it. It's got to be coming. It's got to be coming.
Me and Jake have been saying for years, haven't we? We want the diorama piece with the bedroom scene. You know where they have that half Two-Face, half Joker room
with Drew Barrymore in
Riddler
there.
Room. Yeah, with the two women that they had because they had like that good and bad kind of like
the Angels, Drew Barrymore.
Drew Barrymore,
Drew Barrymore, yeah. So you have them two in it as well as part of the set as a 4-pack. That'd sell so much.
And you know what though? Knowing Todd, that is a possibility. He gave us the Joker diorama, the jail cell or interrogation room. So
I just wish he could do Venom. You know what I mean? I'd love to see.
Yeah, what he does Venom.
I'd love to see
like his McFarlane Venom, right? Like and McFarlane Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But
I'd
I
love
don't think
to see-
he articulation's not his strong point though. I don't know if he could do a Spider-Man.
No, but they've got a crossover, haven't they? Because they're doing the page punchers, so they have kind of opened up that door with McFarlane. So
That's what I said, and everyone yelled at me. I was
Yeah,
like,
really.
they're talking. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
they're talking. That's good. And
Yeah.
Todd is a businessman. And if Hasbro sees when we're putting out stuff, it's failing, he's making a lot of money. And Todd's smart. He doesn't do dumb things. He even got in trouble. You remember on I think Shartimus's interview, he was like, only one villain in a wave because they don't sell well. Girl figures don't sell well. And he got it. I saw toy people like trying to cancel Todd McFarlane. I was like, come on, not going to happen. Not the Todd father.
There you go. Just checking the comments. I need to. We've not really stayed on the comments.
No,
today.
we-
we do.
I know we didn't stop talking. I'm sorry about that. I got motor mouth.
I'm just gonna jump in a little bit here. We've got Toy Scavengers in the comments saying that his little boy is quite disappointed that there isn't many Harry Potter around. Loads of merch, but he wants a figure line. Yep, totally agree. Another one from Toy Scavenger, actually. Penguin was the toughie for me in regards to figures. That's correct, actually. Kenneth Penguin, that's one I never got. I can see it straight away now in my head. On the gold box.
That color rainbow, the umbrella is like blue and yellow or something like that.
Yeah. And he had and the tailcoat. I can see it, the gold box and everything. And I couldn't get hold of that one. That's a good one. Let's have a look. Joby1 saying I need a Batman animated series Joker. That's one we do need. That is definitely one we do need.
I want them to tackle the holiday one again. I would really love to see Todd's take on the holiday Joker from the Batman animated series.
They did that as a 2-pack, didn't they? Did they do it as a 2-pack?
It was DC
Harley
Direct,
and
wasn't it?
Lingerie.
Yeah. DC Direct did the original one because it came with like the little tree and everything.
We've got Casey Martinez as well. Said that's how I got into Marvel Legends. Went into Walmart one day and there was an Iron Man on the shelves. That's
Casey's from my channel. Shout out to Casey. Great dude.
The funny thing is as well, bringing it back to New York, that's where I found them. I literally walked into Midtown Comics and I was collecting some of the McFarlane figures where they did like the Hellraiser figures at the time. I had the Matrix figures, like they were kind of where my action figures were going. If it was
Movie Masters,
movie masters,
Maniacs. Yeah,
they came with that little cutout with the
the stand that was like made of bones.
That's it, with the poster in it. But yeah, so I'd pick up all these different figures for that, and I walked into Midtown and there were these comic book figures, and I was like, what are these? What are these, and how do I get them in my life? And that was kind of how I, so it's true, isn't it? You walk in somewhere and you see it, and be it a Walmart, be it a B&M over here with some of the discount shops or something, you walk in, that first time you see something is that first time you see something. So
well, and that's the thing, is like, how many times did you go into somewhere where you were just like, oh, that looks like a cool figure? You might not even like, sometimes I'll buy a figure just as a figure, like not because I like the thing, because it's a cool looking figure, and it's easy to sell us. You know what I mean?
100%. So you're like, I'm not a massive one about articulation. As an action figure collector, I like articulation in a figure. If you're giving me a Spider-Man, I want it to be highly articulated. But if it's a character I like I love Invincible, and I love the Invincible Amazon show. Diamond Selects figures, they're not the most articulated figures in the world, but man, they hit the nail on the head for me because they are literally physical representations of those characters out of the show. So I find it really difficult because when I'm looking at a toy or reviewing a toy, I won't necessarily pull it apart because of articulation unless it needs articulation, unless it's a character that's specific for articulation. So for me, like the Invincible figures, Diamond Select doing them, I'm really happy with that. But I wouldn't want loads of pegs and loads of joins and everything. Like I want them to be like an art toy almost. But yeah, so it's funny. What about you? Are you like a big?
So I think you what you said is correct, right? Like I think everybody, when you have a Batman or a Spider-Man or like a ninja type character, he better have articulation. Like Spider-Man better have toe articulation. I want to get those cool poses. But if there's like a guy like that. All he does is punch and stuff. And that's how, like, I would say my barometer is also. Like, I do love articulation, but and I'll never complain about there being too much.
No.
But I do agree, like, sometimes a figure gets away with it. It doesn't need so much, but it better be to the character. Like, you know what I mean? Like, let me see. Like, the NECA figures never bothered me. They're not super articulated. They're usually enough because they're just people. So I would say I agree with that.
Yeah,
because it works with like the monster lines, like Universal Monsters works with NECA because they're not highly articulated, but to be fair, Frankenstein, you're putting him in a standard arms out kind of pose, so it works, and they're kind of like good on the detailing, I think. So they're like living statues almost anyway. So it works with some lines, and some with others need more articulation, like you say.
Yeah. And I think when it comes to, like, unless you're playing with a toy, like, unless you're actually out there as a kid playing with a toy, like for me, when my sons picked up Marvel Legends, and they, like, my eldest son picked up Miles Morales from that first wave, and he couldn't get it into the poses that he wanted to get it into based on the animation, because they're very, very animated, aren't they? Very, like, those iconic...
the one from the movie.
Yeah.
With the shorts
wave.
on, he had the shorts.
Yeah.
That figure didn't look good. Yeah.
No. So I've got the Hot Toy version, and he's got the Marvel Legends version. Obviously bought them at different times, but then I've got the Hot Toy up in the right pose, and he's trying to get it in as well. And I'm like, you know what? This figure needs more articulation for the playability of it. But as a collector, you're going to do like one of three things. You're going to pose it on your shelf. You're going to take photos of it, or you're going to customize it. Like that's what you're doing as a collector.
Or put it in a bin.
Or put it in the bin. Yeah. And that's it. Or literally just keep it boxed. Now, if you're an in-box collector, articulation means nothing. Like,
I know, and I never want to hear from them because they don't have a say. Because there were people collecting the Hasbro boxes that don't even have a window. I don't ever want to hear from those people ever again.
No, that's crazy. That is crazy. But if you're an action figure photographer, at the same token, you can like, I've seen some incredible action figure photography with people with like Lego figures or mini mates, for example.
Yes,
there's not a huge amount of articulation and stuff, or maybe a bit more with the mini mates, but you know what I'm trying to get at. And then
you believe it or not, I have to just show love. I love mini mates. Shout out Diamond Select.
I love mini mates.
I usually keep one in my pocket when I'm just chilling in the world.
I love it. Did you get the Ninja Turtle mini mates?
Yeah, of course. The blimps. Yeah.
That's a cool one. No, I'm a big fan of mini mates as well. And just being able to swap them about, like put in the head, perfect.
Yeah, you could do you have like big tubs of parts?
Yeah.
So hold on, you would like this. So years ago, Diamond Select at Comic-Cons, they had a booth where they would bring all their mini-mate parts, and you could dig through, and people who were in the groups, like, the multiverse and all that, and like Zach knew me and stuff like that. He would let you, like, you could just go through there and just, if there's a part you need for a custom and stuff. So I would literally go to New York Comic-Con just to hang out with people and like dig through the big mini-mate display that they had, and just like I have like all these molds, like I have like like production molds and casts and stuff. That was like my favorite part of I don't know why they should bring that back. You know what? When he's on here, I'm gonna press him in the comments again.
Yeah. But yeah, so the articulation, action figure photography, or you're going to customize them, and you'll know from producing your own toy, like it's customization is what it is. Like, you can, depending on how good you are at customizing, you can turn a pretty standard figure with low articulation into a good custom, or you can turn a really articulated figure into a custom. So they're the three things, and that's why I think it's like my scale is very all over the place. If they produce a character I like in a good way, I'm happy. Like it's
like if there's a figure you need, I'm not going to be like picky. Like I got lucky because I've been on a James Bond kick with the Daniel Craig movies, and I couldn't believe it. I started watching them during the holiday break, and I look online and I see Muff Toys. That's such a weird name, but Muff Toys is making the best looking Daniel Craig James Bond I've ever seen. I bought it right away, which I got lucky because it literally came out the day I was looking it up. and it just came in the mail today, and that figure is awesome, and it's third party, and it's like a little mini Mezco figure, and it's just crazy that like you could. It's always it's cool as a guy collector or just a collector that you could watch a movie and then you have that figure, you know what I mean, of like what you just watched. And I think that's what we all do. We all like stuff. Like I know if I watch a good movie, I gotta go get a toy of the thing.
That's how I am. And
yeah.
there's one thing, the Guyver for me is one that really frustrates me because you can't. I think it's Figma. I think do a version of the Guyver like the manga.
Okay, I didn't know if you meant the MacGyver, like the American thing, or
sorry,
the
anime. I need to pronounce my words better for you, Rocco. Not MacGyver, but the Guyver.
The guy with the
Fire booster armor.
Yeah.
Fire booster armor. They go, and you can't get it. And like even at 1/6 scale, like I would like nothing more than like a good 1/6 scale Guyver. I would even take the movie version that like Mark Hamill starred in like 1985 or whatever it was. Like, but you can't get it. There's like a Figma animated version, I think.
Good luck though with those old Figma figures. They go up to like $500-$600.
Oh, they're ridiculous.
Crazy.
They're ridiculous.
Yeah.
But you just can't get one. And but now but with other things, you can literally watch a film and there's a dozen or so toys. So it's.
I mean, we're even getting these third parties are making Dragon Ball Z characters that the Bandai didn't make yet. We're in the best timeline. Seriously, like there's so much great, and especially you're a hot toy collector. There's so many knockoff hot toy type things out there that you could probably get any movie that you could think of in a hot toy style, 1/6 scale figure. Yeah. It's really.
I just you'll see it on my TikTok, but I got a Sam Raimi Venom by a company called Thunder Toys, and they literally retail at like 160.
That's not bad at all.
And it's perfect. It's literally perfect. And I was like, never did I think I'd want a 1/6 scale version of that Venom.
Yeah,
it's everything. It's one of my favorite figures at the minute. It really is cool.
Yeah, I'm on the Rami kick as well. It's just those movies are just so good. Even the third one, it's so silly and dumb. It's like the bat nipples, but it's an enjoyable movie.
Yeah, it's part of the trilogy. Things come around. Come around. Sorrel, how are we doing for time, buddy?
1 hour 27. Probably we're all right.
Did you just say Muff Toys? Someone said in the comments.
Yeah, LaRue.
It's Muff Toys. I don't know what. Google it. It's a Muff Top Agent. Very, very nice figure.
Nice.
Yeah, it's funny you should say about the like third party and stuff, because I'm like this year I'm going all out with because I've done the Hasbro thing, I've done the Mattel thing, but I'm loving the smaller companies are getting the thing now. So we've got like the Animal Kingdom stuff with all the like the monkey action figures, because they're cool, because they're like they could either be fantasy or science fiction depending on how you want to like style them up. And then you've got like the Saurozoic Warriors from the Boss Fight Studios. But Fu-Ray Planet has captured my heart at the moment. These things are amazing.
Oh, wow. That's detailed.
Yes, this is like a Shaolin kind of tiger. Very cool. They're so cool. I got the werewolf figure.
Oh, is that the werewolf that ever? Yeah, okay. Yeah.
The werewolf the one that every YouTuber bought, and that's the reason I got it as well. This werewolf guy came out.
Oh, that's cool.
It's made by the same company. They just make these really cool anthropomorphic kind of figures and stuff.
That's the thing too. If you make something that's really cool, people are gonna buy it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The third party companies have to fight for our attention harder than Bandai. That's why third party companies like Black Hole Toys, they're making figures that Bandai won't give you for the Dragon Ball Z whatever, and it's because they want your money. And Bandai, I don't know what Bandai's doing. I don't know what they're lazy, I guess.
Yeah, that tiger though, it's like something like when you're like a kid and you kind of like scribbling in sketchbooks. It's like it'll be a really cool character. Like that's what those remind me of.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, because that was the fun part was this week when I went to there's a shop here in the UK called the Entertainer, and they get some really discounted stuff. The Power Rangers Minotaur from Hasbro. This was like retailing for about 50 quid when it first came out. It was like £7 something the other day in the Entertainer. So like for 7 quid, like I can't turn that down now.
Is that Lightning Collection?
Yeah, it's the
I didn't even know
Minotaur.
that came out.
And he's like twice the size of because I've got the like Krampus figure from
Okay.
Mythic Legion stuff. He's like twice the size of that thing. He's massive. He's like the size of like the He-Man figures, like the He-Man universe ones. It's about the same size as them. So
Insane.
I could not pass him up on the shelf. So
Yeah, that is insane.
But Rocco, it's been lovely having you on, man. So where can people follow you if they want to catch up with you?
So, yeah, first of all, thank you guys for having me. This was a very easy talk. You guys are both very chill. I appreciate that. You can find me, Rocco the Great, on YouTube, TikTok. My Instagram got deleted, but I'm working hard at it. I've been posting shorts every day. I'm almost at 7K already, so I'm very happy about that. And I got 2 new videos coming this week for sure. I just edited a toy hunt today, so it'll be up tomorrow. And then I have the James Bond Muff toys. I did so many innuendos in that review. That is coming out this week as well. So we're getting to the grind. This stream, I did a live stream last night. That was fun. And I'm hitting this up today. So I appreciate you guys having me on. Very cool. I always love chatting with people.
Been good fun. You're welcome back anytime.
Appreciate that.
Cool. All right. Well, on that note, and we'll round it up. Do go check out Rocco the Great over on the channels. We'll put some links in the descriptions of the video so that you can give him a follow. There it is. Rocco, stick around. We'll have a chat with you after the live goes off. But yeah, no, brilliant. Thank you very much to everyone that's been jumping in the chat. We do apologize we haven't got to everything, but you know, there we go. Just on a side note, me and Sorrell will be back on Friday. We're catching up with our old friend Dave Display's Model Behavior on Friday, who's actually living out in Japan now. So we're going to be catching up with him talking about the toy hunting out there. He's a fellow Brit that went out, and I think he's working on Harry Potter.
He works at Universal. Yeah, he works at Universal in their Harry Potter section because obviously he's British.
Oh,
he works in the Harry Potter section.
Give him a shout out, man. That's brilliant. That really is. That's smart.
But Dave's another YouTuber. He does a lot of toy hunting, so we're looking forward to catching up with him and talking about how the toy hunt changes and differs over there in Japan. And then obviously we'll be on our regular show on Sunday as well. So 3 shows this week. 3 shows.
I know, crazy.
Absolutely crazy.
That's it.
Rocco,
2024.
That's it. Rocco, it's been absolutely amazing having you. Thank you so much for joining us. Do go check him out. Everyone else, keep it geek.
Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and of course subscribe. Tune in next week for another live show. Until then, keep it geek. Stay up to date at www.geekweekinreview.co.uk.